Right, well in this question you've got a lot of fractions. You've got 4/10, 9/20, 14/30, 19/40, 24/50, and 49/100. And the question is, which of these fractions is closest to 50%? Well, to know if something is close or not to 50%, we actually know that 50% is the same as the decimal number 0.5, because 50% means 50 parts out of 100 as a fraction, which when we convert to a fraction, we have 2 zeros down here, we move the decimal point 2 places back, we know that that is 0.5. So which of these fractions is closest to 0.5? We are going to have to look at the decimal number and see which of these fractions, when converted to a decimal, is closer to 0.5. 4/10 is really easy because that's the fraction. 4/10 is exactly the same as the decimal, 0.4. There's 1 0 down here. We move the decimal point 1 place backwards to get the decimal equivalent of the fraction, giving us 0.4. Another one that's super easy to work out here is 49/100, because we just move the decimal point 2 places backwards, giving us the decimal 0.49. So 0.49 as a decimal is much closer to 0.5 than 0.4 was, because if we think of the number scale here, we've got 0.4 here, and we've got 0.5. 0.49 is going to be here on the number line, whereas 0.4 is quite a lot further away. Let's look at some of the other ones then. How do we decide how to convert 9/20 into a fraction? Well, we'd like to get 100 on the bottom, because that gives us the percentage really easy. If we multiply 20 by 5, that gives us 100 on the bottom here, and 9 5s are 45. So we would get 45/100, which would give us the decimal 0.45, which would go here on our number line. Then if we looked at 14/30, well, how do we change that to a decimal? Well, that's quite easy to do, because we just do the division. Instead of doing 14 by 30, I would probably do 1.4 divided by 3 instead, so that we divide both top and bottom by 10. 3's into 1 goes 0 times, 1 left over. 3's into 14 go 4 times, and 2 left over. And 3's into 20 go 6 times, and it would be 2 left over, so we'll get 6 recurring. So this decimal number would go here on the number line. 19/40, well, we'd divide 1.9 divided by 4 to get the decimal version. 4's go into 1 0 times, 1 left over. 4's go into 19 4 times. 4 4s are 16, 3 left over. 4's go into 30, 7 4s are 28. So it's not going to quite finish there. It will carry on, then we've got 2 left over. So we'll get 0.475, a little bit higher up. Can you see the trend here? That as the denominator on the bottom gets larger. And 24/50, that's really easy to change to a decimal number or percentage by just multiplying top and bottom by 2. We'll get 48/100, which will be 0.48. And here we're getting a bit closer again to 0.49. But the fraction here that is closest to 50% was 49/100. And that's really quite logical, because we can actually think about it another way instead. Let's just make a little bit of space here from our number line where we were, and think about the number 4/10. How far away from 50% is it? Well, if it had been 5/10, it would have been 50%. And it's only 4/10, so the distance between 4/10 and 5/10 is 1/10. The distance between 9/20 and 10/20, because 10/20 would have been exactly 50%. The difference between 9/20 and 10/20 is 1/20. So we can see already that 9/20 is only 1/20 away from 0.5, whereas 5/10 was a whole tenth. So as the number gets more larger down here, the distance between between the fraction and the percentage 50% get larger. If we look at the number 14/30ths, that is only 1/30th away from 50%, and 19/40ths is 1/40th away from 50%. 24/50ths is 1/50th away from 50%, and 49/100ths is 1/100th of a distance away from 50%, because 50% would have been 50/100ths, and we had 49/100ths, which is only 1/100th of a way, which is very, very close. It's 0.01 of a point away from 0.01 point away from 0.5. So this one is, of course, going to be the right answer. And that's how you can do that question.